2, 1.
Ah,
Hello.
hello.
Hello. The first YouTube video.
Trying some different marketing.
Yeah. This is Noah from Cafe Byron Bay.
And this is Bertie, also at Cafe Byron Bay.
From England.
Yeah, from England. Where are you from?
Complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated. In a word, summarize it.
Somewhere. Today we're not gonna do the live Facebook anymore because that one is hard to keep track because live shows it goes down because it's a post.
It's weird, isn't it? They get like hidden away.
Yeah, they disappear actually, like at some stage.
Really?
We can't really keep it forever. Like YouTube channel.
Oh, so you'd say that you'd archive them.
Yeah. So, but this one is better. Well, we'll see how it goes. Today the topic is.
Well, we were talking about this before, and at least a good topic to start with, maybe dating. I think everyone's doing it. All the kids are talking about it. It's interesting.
It is.
There's like a cultural thing, especially between like Western and like more like Asian. Dating is very different.
Very different. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Very different.
So I don't know where to start with. I guess a good place to start would be kind of like date experience. So maybe not experience, but like kind of soft rules maybe. So at least in my understanding, this is all from my understanding, by the way. So like obviously I might have crazy ideas about stuff. And I might just I just might be a bit of a maniac.
We can edit now.
Yeah. And cut right there. Yeah. So yeah, I guess dating, like kind of rules, like one thing that interests me about the difference between sort of like dating in the West and dating in Japan is kind of like contact. You know what I mean? So maybe it again depends on the chemistry, depends on the date, but usually if you sort of like give someone a hug or like give them a kiss or anything else like that, that's usually after you've seen them for a little bit. Maybe first date, maybe second date if things go well. Maybe you can kiss. Kiss, or like even just contact. Stuff like that, like a shoulder touch or anything. Again, this me, I'm kind of like shy and nervous, so sometimes I wait for a long time before I even like think about it. It's like,
oh really?
Like that, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but that's just me, and I'm strange. But that kind of first, just going beyond a conversation, having coffee, yada yada yada. That kind of almost intimacy is like maybe you take a bit of time to find out, but what's the kind of length of time
for me?
Well, for you, but for like in your experience of maybe like dating Japanese people
from the beginning.
Yeah, no, not like touch like that, but like a touch, like that, where you're a bit more familiar, a bit more kind of close.
But maybe. It's like I think, I'm not sure. But for me, if I date with someone, so we don't really. Well, it's difficult to define like hang out or date in the very beginning.
Yeah.
But even like if I'm going out with a guy, I like even the first dinner or lunch or whatever. Usually I don't go for lunch, but dinner. Then I just give the affection, but not like this.
Yeah, not like that. Like crazy.
Not like that, but like just like touch because that's me showing my interest towards him.
Okay, so it's kind of affirming that.
Yeah, because if I don't do that, if I have 100, well, for me, my opinion, if I don't give any affection, how can this guy knows that I'm interested in him?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like there's a wall. She's smiling and everything, but she never, let him be close.
I see what you mean, because I don't know, my impression of like Japanese people when they go on dates is there's very little contact. You see people sat at like a cafe across from each other, or kind of like those phones on the table, and everyone's just like this and there.
That's awful.
It's kind of this very awkward backwards and forwards, and I've been in sort of cafes and things where I've just been reading and just chilling out with people watching, and there's people that are either on like the first or second, or like even like third date or something, and it's still this very stiff kind of formal. But then again, I see some people like couples like going to the arcade, like game center and stuff, and playing games, and it's all like kind of it's very hard to find that
No, because even for me, well, I'm a bit different from regular Japanese girls, but even for me, if I'm dating with someone, if I'm going out with a guy I like, I never sit across to each other. I always sit next to.
Ah, okay.
Because it's far. It's so far, and this is like for me, it's like fighting. You know, like when we play chess or whatever. When I'm against someone, we have business meeting or whatever. When we are doing some stuff against each other or something, then it's fine. But date. No, it's better to sit next to each other. So I always choose the place where we can sit by side.
Ah, okay. So like a booth or something.
But then again, this is not common in Japan. So usually if the guy is Japanese, they go like, really?
Yeah. You're so close to me.
Yeah.
What do you want from me, Spectre?
Are we sitting next to each other?
Yeah.
It's not popular.
But maybe that kind of takes them out of their comfort zone. And maybe it's like, oh, hello, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And maybe they might open up a little bit more. Like I said, but I mean, again, I haven't really been on many dates. I'm so lonely.
No, you have lots of girls you're talking to.
Yeah, but we'll see. But that's just talking, you know, and that's the other thing that, again, part of it's me and part of it's my own sort of mental hang-ups about stuff. But also, like, it's very hard to establish, like you said earlier, when you're meeting up and going to hang out or when you're going on a date. You know, like, I mean,
define the difference.
I mean, like a lot of people, myself included, use like things like Tinder and Bumble to just meet people.
Bumble too?
Bumble's like Tinder, but it's a little bit different. I actually prefer it because what it does is, well, once you match, basically, and it's the same kind of like you have the profile and you have the pictures, and you can be a horrible human being and just swipe through and just be like yes, no. But the way if you do match, the woman has to contact you first. So it gives. So instead of things like Tinder where you match and then guys just spam messages, send messages to everyone. Bumble is like you match and the woman has to initiate contact.
Almost same as Tinder,
but yeah, there's like a different kind of rule. So it's good because then. You know, it's different. It gives women all the power to say whether they want to follow through with it.
Oh, that's a sexist.
You could argue that men do send other pictures to women all the time, so you kind of got to be careful.
That's one thing. Like that doesn't really happen in Japan, but in West, some guys or a lot of guys, I don't know, they send their naked photos or something to the girls.
Yeah,
this
all the
is.
time.
I'm not gonna swear. It's so weird.
It's so weird. It's so common. And thankfully, I can go on camera and record and say I've never done that. Okay, I've never done that because again,
I've never done that.
If you use that as an opener, that's. I mean, some people might be into it, but that's like a tiny percentage of other people that might just be looking to have a date or have drinks or something. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
it's shocking.
But the numbers are so high, and it's a really like accepted. It's not an accepted thing, but amongst men or certain men anyway. Like it's.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. Maybe they have it in their they have it in their head that it's like, oh, this, you know, I'm on this platform, right? I'm on this dating thing. Therefore, everyone must be up for sex. You know, straight away, and then they think that, or maybe it's a way of making themselves feel good, or maybe they just want to, troll people.
They send this like direct photos of their dick.
Yeah, you're like direct. I know, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. I've never understood it. And thankfully, again, none of my friends that I know of have sent them to girls, because otherwise you'd just be like, what? I'd be fascinated to know what's going through their mind as they do it. Like, do you genuinely believe that this girl that you've just met is interested in seeing you naked? Or not even you, just something that's attached to you, you know? Like, they're just like, boom, check this out. It's like,
that one is like... Well, that never happens. Like, I don't know any Japanese guys who's done that to me, or I've never heard any stories from Japanese guys. I bet they don't do it because it's too direct. Even Japanese pornography has,
Oh, the blur, it's called like mosaic.
Yeah, mosaic.
Yeah.
So it's in Japan, especially, it's too much to see the actual thing, like
it's
even
too much information. You gotta wait.
We don't want to see it.
And you gotta wait, turn off the lights.
Yeah. So with mosaic, it's okay, but when it's without, it's like.
So really, what you're saying is we need to have a mosaic filter and then put them on the pictures, and then like you get the camera that detects it and it auto mosaics it.
But the point is like, even if maybe it's okay if they're already couple doing that kind of thing.
Fine.
That's
you're
fine.
into it. You're into
but
it.
But the point is like they do it when it's still on just a
I know.
Fucking date.
But there's like, but I'm kind of surprised you say that about Japan, because there's like another phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon because it makes it sound interesting, but there's part of like Apple, like the iOS program is AirDrop, where you can activate it and you can send something to anyone within AirDrop range. And so recently, or like over the past few years, a lot of women have reported that people can pick up their AirDrop and just send them the same pictures, even if they're not on a dating website. No. They just get it. They just get pictures. Like it's bizarre. And because of like the transit system in Japan and stuff, like you'd think there's a bunch of pervs that would be definitely up for doing that. You know, like everyone's crammed on a train, they can just send the pictures and stuff. I'm very surprised that doesn't happen.
That would be crazy. Just random dick photos.
Yeah, just random dick photos.
That's a terror attack.
That's a good Twitter handle. But yeah, it's weird, the whole psychology of it. Like, but then again, you know, the other perception that a lot of people have about Japan is they're not particularly like sexually liberal.
No.
In the mean that, you know, that they're very private about everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, since I came here, the first time I came here, I was very surprised that like in Kyoto, like all the major cities, there are strip clubs or like the equivalent. You know, like or things like Soapland, which is not a brothel, but you know, there's all this stuff and there's all the lights and the kind of aesthetic is exactly the same as anywhere else you'd expect a red light district. But a lot of people have this perception of Japanese people as being very sexually reserved or just like non-sexual people.
No.
So that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Dichotomy? No, I don't know. That kind of difference is amazing to see. You know, so like, you know, you go wandering around, even like outside around here, you know, like Yoshiwara. You go through there and you're like, whoa, this is different.
There are so many shops.
There's people out there trying to get you to come in, even like as a foreigner, and you're like, I mean, cool. I mean, great.
Have you been?
No, I haven't been.
Oh.
No, I'm too shy and I'm too poor. But you know, like, I mean, when I've done my side job, I've done deliveries and stuff, and there's a whole economy behind it, and you know, whether that's a good or a bad thing comes down to how you work, and I'm not, you know, in a position to comment on it. But you know, it's fascinating, and yet, you know, you see people that are so reserved, like on dates and stuff like that. It's like there's no definite lines, but I mean, I guess there's no definite lines in the West, but you know,
in Japan, it's like people date, even date. So let's say there's this boy that I dated in the past. Japanese boy every time, even after so many dates, and we were almost like couple. We were couple. We never defined, but he would never do anything. You know, just holding hands, fine.
Yeah.
But if I tried to cuddle him or anything, he would just go like, no, this is in a public area. This is people are watching, and what are you doing? And I'm like, who cares?
But I think that does, again, to my understanding, plays into like the Japanese mentality of not wanting to stand out. You know, everyone's very happy to blend in, and then you do see when there's a couple walking down the street and they're like very close, or they're holding hands. Like they kind of stand out in a way, different. And you're just like, whoa, okay, well, good. I'm like just like, good for you guys. You know, be happy, enjoy it. And then you see people like other couples like, oh my god, they're holding hands.
Oh my god! But I don't know because if I'm staying with a guy or a girl that I like, I want to touch.
Yeah.
Like, I want to give affection. Yeah. I don't want any distance. I want to kiss and touch and do everything. Not everything.
Not everything.
Not everything.
That's
but
illegal.
just affection for someone I love. Right? And then it's like it's forbidden kind of. You know, like don't do it in public. But they do it when they go inside a room. When they go home. Yeah. They give all the affections they need, but never on the street and no kissing.
No kissing. No, you do that.
No kissing in public.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It is sad, but then again, I think a lot of perceptions is like I don't particularly perceive Japanese people as like very sensitive, like intimate people.
Yeah, but in England, people do, right? Kissing on the street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like cuddling each other.
Yeah, like that. Obviously, if it's too much, like they're going full making out.
No,
it's kind of like everyone's kind of like, oh, this is a little bit uncomfortable.
Which level is uncomfortable in you?
Well, like when they're kind of attached to each other's faces, you know,
Right.
or like properly like heavy kissing. I think, you know, if it's like a little bit and like, you know, a bit like that. Otherwise, like, especially if you're with a group of people and someone just starts making out, it's like, I mean, it's fine. But if it goes on for a while, you're just kind of like, okay.
When you say making out, means like heavy kiss.
Yeah, heavy kissing. But otherwise, like, anything's fine. You know, I think, and you know, because it's healthy, you know, and then you're also sort of saying to other people, haha, this person is mine. Sort of, you know, and then and it kind of sets like a precedent or something. But but I just even behind closed doors, I don't know, I don't really have a mental image of Japanese people being particularly like intimate or affectionate. But again, I haven't dated anyone that's Japanese, so I might be very wrong.
Oh, it's true. Well, when they are inside their rooms, I don't know, but at least when they are in public. But I used to live in Australia, so in Australia, or especially in Byron Bay was everyone was so affectionate, even between friends and family. You know, like they would just cuddle, all these hippies, and just cuddle everywhere.
Just a big pile of cuddling hippies. Just in the middle.
All the affections. Then coming here, Tokyo from Byron Bay is like so isolated.
Okay.
I was like, whoa. But I was now I'm used to Tokyo style, but I was so used to Byron Bay style back then. Like, people just cuddle, you know, like they kiss between friends.
It depends how you kiss though. If it's on the cheek, that's fine. If it's
it's on the lip.
Ooh,
on the lips,
I don't know about that.
Not with tongue. Just
obviously not with tongue. Like,
just like.
Especially if you kiss your parents goodbye or something, you just start making out with
No,
your dad. That's fucking
no,
weird,
no.
man.
But just like.
Yeah. I don't know. It's that's me. Maybe that just sort of hit something deep down where I'm like, okay, that's weird. You know. But you know, whatever. If it's a cultural thing, it's the done thing, and I know that makes sense.
But like cuddling, so England is a bit more
liberal. I'd say liberal with affection
than Japan.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's still you still got to have like a manner of kind of public, because you got to think about everyone else, and that not everyone else is like okay with it, and it makes me sound a bit prudish. You know what I mean by prudish? Yeah. So to say, but you know, like there's a certain unspoken societal level where you're like, all right, that's fine, but guys, kind of take it somewhere else.
Get a
because
curtain.
get a room sort of thing, because otherwise it's like everyone else is like lonely people, like me. I'm so jealous. But like, you know, there's just a certain level where you're like, okay, you know, that's the kind of comfortable barrier for everyone around you. And I think it's respect as well. It's not like you can't do this. I mean, you can do it, but just think about other people.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
holding hand is okay.
Oh yeah.
Light kiss is fine.
Yeah. Like a good kiss is fine as well.
Fine.
Like, but like properly making out is kind of like. All right, save that for like nightclubs when everyone's out of their face, trying to pick people up. But that puts me on to the next thing. Like I'm interested. I haven't really been to a nightclub in Japan, like a big one. I've been to some of the local ones, but you know, there's just like a lot of people hanging out and enjoying drinks.
Next month?
We go where?
Ageha.
What's Ageha?
That's the biggest nightclub in whole Asia.
Ooh, that sounds
going.
fun. Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds interesting. But yeah, I'd be interested to see, again, not like this is coming from me, but not like there's a particular pattern or a set of rules, but at least it's perceived, again, in my opinion, in the West, in like sort of nightclubs, you kind of, younger people go out in like packs, right? They go out like pack of guys, a pack of girls, and guys are always like looking for girls and trying to, you know, get them to come home with them and stuff like that, and you know, there's obviously people have methods, or like people are less attractive and they dress up, or they do whatever, or buy people drinks. Yeah. There's a whole sort of set of actions to let people know that you're interested in
definitely.
So I'd be interested to know what it's like, you know, if it's any different, or I would imagine it's kind of the same.
I think it's kind of the same.
Yeah.
Especially Ageha is like Akita is a nightclub, the biggest nightclub in Japan or the Asia. It's like a theme park. It's huge.
Ooh.
They have lots of different dance floors. It's just massive. It's like Disneyland, but nightclub. Big, but all the girls, like younger girls, I'm not that young anymore, but these girls, they just, you know, hunt guys and the guys hunt girls. That kind of thing I see all the time. Where me and my friends, we have all these towels and sneakers, get ready for dancing. You know, like
Towels? What do you
because
mean?
we sweat a lot because we dance so much.
So you take a towel
yeah,
to
we
a
take
nightclub?
towel and like everything ready, like all the waters. We don't even buy alcohol. We have like lots of waters. Okay, we're gonna dance all night.
It's like you're gonna go and work out. This is the little things I love about Japanese culture, that people, again in England, or at least where I'm from in Bristol,
Yeah.
like you take a towel to a nightclub because you're gonna go dancing. People are like, are you some kind of maniac? Like, what's going on? Are you here to work out? Get out, sort of thing. You know, that's so sweet.
Yeah, like
That's
even
so
before when the first thing I do is go on the dance floor, go to the very edge at the back.
Right.
I do all the stretching and everything. Stretch, ready for the dance, ready for the dance.
That's
Then
great. So is that common?
that's common among my friends, but not those younger people who don't care about the music, but just go there to pick up girls and, you know,
Okay.
pick up boys and stuff. But
Watch me go there and watch nothing happen.
I
It's
know,
great.
but nightclubs, definitely the problem is that when you find a guy at the nightclub or the girls, because it's dark, it's different, you know, environment when you go out,
Yeah.
or maybe you swap contacts and maybe a week later you see each other. He looks different. She looks so different.
Yeah, you have
in the light. So
yeah, and you have the old
you need to be careful.
and you have the old beer goggles on.
Yeah, then
and
maybe
everything.
you might, you know, you are drunk or, you know, you
Yeah.
might
But then there's that
off
also
your head
thing.
and all this.
That's the other thing. Like obviously, so say you would succeed in again English terminology is pulling.
Yeah.
So like pulling them with you kind of thing. But that sounds kind of aggressive. But if you were to like get someone to come home with you, there's again the culture like love hotels and stuff, because
yeah.
everyone lives in all different
Japan.
places of Tokyo
Japan.
and everything. So it's more common to go to like a love hotel.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And rather than to go back to someone's house. So again in England, like obviously we don't have love hotels. And
Zero.
Yeah, like zero. Like specifically, because everyone's like, oh yeah, you can stay overnight. You're not going to stay.
No.
But like a normal hotel, even a normal hotel is actually kind of expensive.
You have motels?
No.
Oh, no.
We like the closest we have to a motel is a chain called Premier Inn or like Holiday Inn branding,
Okay.
and they are, but they're just like discount hotels. They're not like you can't just be like, all right, we're gonna, you know,
No.
here's 2,000 yen. We're just gonna
Not like that.
Okay,
Kinda
yeah,
quickie.
you know, so. Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, it's most common if you do pull someone that you go back to a love hotel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than their house. You think?
Yeah, easier because house is
Usually far away.
and also you don't want to let it, because usually it's one night stand, you know, like nightclub thing is, so you don't want to bring one night stand people to your private area.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
love hotel, you know, just have quickie and bye bye. If it's good, next time maybe you invite them to your house, but
Right. Okay.
from the first time
Yeah.
he might be dangerous, she might be
Dangerous,
creepy.
yeah. Yeah, it's always both sides of the coin. Again, and again, or maybe like in my situation, I live in a share house with two other people in my room.
So you can't bring anyone.
So yeah, I mean, otherwise,
you have to go to love hotels.
yeah, I have to go find somewhere. But yeah, no, again, but it's a whole side of it that I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with personally. But like again, like the whole method and everything of like love hotels is like, yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
But what would you think? Like, so you meet a girl at the nightclub or anywhere. If she's coming straight to the hotel, if you ask her, if she's coming straight to sex, what would you think? Would you make her your girlfriend in the future, or would you think like, she's too easy?
No, I mean, depend. I mean, any kind of attention for me is like, yay.
I mean-
But no, I mean, again,
Yeah.
like you said, if you have a good time and you know, maybe it's just sex, and that's fine because that's all some people need.
But do you reckon you'd feel if the girl is good, not in bed but good person?
Yeah,
would
well,
you date?
I would certainly wouldn't go.
Okay.
I wouldn't go straight from being like that to a couple.
No.
You know, you'd actually take the time to get to know someone. And yeah, maybe, but you know, again, it depends on the person, really. I think, but I don't know. Like I said, I think it's safe because otherwise, there's a lot of people that do this. You know, do a lot of intimacy and then jump straight into a relationship instead of taking a bit of time. You know.
Then that's
yeah, because that's when you sort of back yourself into a corner. Then.
True. When you buy a car, you need to test drive first.
something like that, yeah.
But how long, like when would you, so let's say you gotta go, you slept with her and did everything. When, or after, what kind of circumstances would you define or ask her, so, what are we?
Yeah, that's good, because like again, I thought you were going to say like, so are we a couple or something, and then that sounds really childish, like, oh, you're my girlfriend.
But like you might define at some point, you know, like.
I think a couple of weeks, maybe like a bit of back and forth, like talking, maybe go on a date or maybe meet up, even if you just do the same thing again. You know, but, I don't know. It's hard to tell, but I think. Again, my understanding of like sort of Japanese people is they are quite keen to be in a relationship, you know, to have that kind of status, sort of thing. Again, I could be wrong, but my friends that I know that are just like, I want a girlfriend, it's like, I want a boyfriend.
Define.
That's it. Yeah, I just want that. So some people are, like I said, will rush into doing that. And then not anything. Think of the consequences. You know, sometimes, you know, it might work out. It's not all bad. Life isn't all bad.
Yeah, we never know.
But we all know what people are like, and most people are crazy. So, you know,
in general,
it's about finding the right kind of crazy for you.
Everyone's different.
Everyone's in a way,
and no one's perfect.
No, that's it. But yeah, I think a few weeks and a bit of time. And again, if you actually like someone, then you're going to make the effort to be with them, or like make an effort to get to know them.
But would you define from your side, or like, because you don't know, maybe she doesn't want to define, she wants to define the relationship, would you worry, like, what if she says, let's keep it casual, would you worry asking?
Fine. No, because it's like, you know, a relationship and like anything being a couple is like a two-person thing. And so you've got to be on the same page. And if you're that worried of like asking a question and then being rebuffed about it, like, you know, like, what are we, kind of thing, and if you're so afraid of the answer, then you've kind of already got your answer. Like, if you're that kind of, if you're that fickle about having this, I need to know that there's this label right on here, you know, and I want to be able to say my girlfriend, my boyfriend, whatever, then I'd say that's almost like a bit of a problem, because you need that validation rather than just enjoying a relationship, whether it's casual or serious. You know, but then, you know, then you can ask yourself where do the boundaries lie between a serious relationship and a casual one. You know, does a casual one means that you can see other people? Or, you know, and like a serious one, but then you've got casual or open. You know? But then that's the question. If you're like a polyamorous person, you know, I mean, like if you like, well, no, like anyone, like if you like to have multiple relationships and not, you know, and be open about it, and not be a dick, then you kind of, you know, then you have to say, and then you worry about, okay, are you okay with this? Because I like you, but I just want to date other people as well. Like, you know, it's tricky. It's hard enough in English, let alone God knows what it's like in Japanese. But then I remember you telling me before that a lot of Japanese people are actually polyamorous.
They don't open, but
not open, but, you know, like maybe they're just comfortable, like whatever you want to call it, like cheating or just being open.
Cheating. I would say cheating.
I would again. My impression was always like, no, it's fairly like straight-laced, monogamous, but
it's like they have their partners, but because it's huge in Japan, like after 1 year or 2 years of staying with one person, the amount of sex decreases, and they need to find someone else. But they don't want to break up, or they don't want to divorce.
Divorce. Paperwork. I know, that's why never get married. It's less paperwork.
Easier.
It's much easier.
But they find their second boyfriend or girlfriend only because they just wanna, enjoy. And the love, this like being in love, this, honeymoon period ends very quickly, and they wanna have that feeling, but they can't have that with their partners who they've been staying for a long time. But they don't wanna break up because it's so comfortable. They still love them.
Convenient,
but they don't have this, butterflies or anything.
I think the word you're looking for is chemistry.
A chemistry, yeah.
But then a relationship without chemistry is kind of like pointless.
But the chemistry.
Maybe the emotional chemistry is still there, but physically it's
not. No. But if you lose the physical part, I personally believe that's huge, because.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No, I know. Like I said, it's everything, because even if it's not superficial, even if it's like, obviously he's not pretty or he's not handsome or whatever, it's just like...
Yeah, it's just making love, like you call it in English, make love, so
nobody ever
love.
says that. That's so poetic, and we are not a poetic, we're a horrible, coarse, blunt people.
No, but it's like, but then they cheat and stuff, but I personally don't like the cheating, so I open everything, the cards on the table, this is me, this is who I am, if that's okay.
Yep, then that's it, and honestly, if that's what you want, I think that's what you have to sort of open with, it's like a pitch, it's like a business meeting, so...
Very.
But I think, especially nowadays, people are more receptive to that than they have been before. Like, again, maybe some people in the West, still seen as like quirky or free-spirited, or like, some or the nastier people call them like a slut or like whatever. But but if that's what you like and you're safe about it as well.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. Like there's despite the declining population in Japan, there's also a rising rate of STIs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a lot of notices, especially like in Shinjuku. Surprise. There's a lot of notices about like what's rising, like gonorrhea, syphilis, and AIDS.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Because
I guess there's a lot more foreigners in Japan, maybe, and people are maybe a bit more liberal. Like people are a bit more open. So like again, like something I've heard, not that I can actually corroborate it with any evidence.
But that makes sense.
But something I've heard is that like Japanese people aren't a fan of using protection, like condoms. Many women prefer to be on like the pill or do that rather than use condoms.
Yeah, because pills more.
Yeah, more sensational feeling.
Secure.
What have you? Well, you say secure for not getting pregnant, but for the transmission of diseases.
Oh, you can't protect that one.
Exactly. So, but that's what I mean. So there's this whole protection culture of semi-protection or whatever that people just assume it's not going to happen, but it is on the rise. And that's why, again, with the influx of foreigners and everything else like that.
Why would you say let's say you have a girl, Japanese girl, you've been dating for a month or two. And finally you're going to make love. She sighs.
What, you take 2 months?
Come on.
I would take 2 years. I'd be like,
2 years.
Take me a year to start holding hands. No, I know.
I thought you say you take only 2 weeks. 2 years.
No, I'm joking. We'll see what happens. But knowing me, there's some kind of hilarious misfortune's going to happen. So.
But then, like you're making love, doing all the foreplay and everything. Then finally you're going inside of her. But then she goes, you don't need to use condoms. What would you say? She's like, it's okay, don't worry.
I would honestly, because I'm paranoid about stuff like that, I'm a bit of a hypochondriac, so I would just be like, well, one, I know it's breaking the mood, but when did you last get tested?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because, it's kind of, you kind of have to do this kind of stuff, because otherwise, 9 times, chances are you'll get something, God forbid it's something like AIDS or something like that, but that's how it happens. And it doesn't mean that you're not attracted to someone.
No.
I mean, if it's there, and if you want to do it, use a condom.
But would you, let's say you are in love with this girl?
Yeah.
Would you still ask?
Then even more reason to.
Oh, really?
Because like if you're in a relationship with someone, that's kind of like a mutual thing. That, again, at least it's what I expect. Is like if I start dating someone and it gets intimate, it gets physical.
Yeah.
Like you do I think you should, because then it's fair on both of you. Like, you know, otherwise you're going to get a couple of years down the line. And it's like, oh shit, you know, you got chlamydia or something like that. You kind of have to do that because that's how these things spread.
That's the difference, because in Japan, usually people assume no one has the STI, STD.
No, they do.
So they never really ask that question.
Yeah, it's assumed, but also like
no one asks.
People also think, oh, you think I'm a slut, or you think I'm this, or you think, and then it will break the mood. But
have to ask.
Always, again, unless you are 100% sure, which you can never be, you always use protection. In one way or another, because otherwise you are just going to regret it.
Oh, good. You are decent.
No, I'm paranoid. That's different.
Well, that's good. That's good. Because usually, if the guy, I think a lot of, most Japanese people don't ask that question. Like I said, because they don't.
Yeah.
They don't even consider the person is. Okay, 1 moment.
Yeah.
Oh, it's about time to.
Close up. Okay, cut.
After the
okay.
Condom conversation, but.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Be safe. Enjoy yourself.
We'll do it again.
See ya.
Bye.